Hey everyone, welcome to our Tuesday talk. If you don't know me already, my name is Tamika Michelle Johnson AKA the Matchmaking Attorney of Platinum Connections, an exclusive matchmaking agency for successful professionals. So this is again our Tuesday talks. I am not going live today, but it is a video nevertheless about the subject that I promised, which is about Valentine's Day as a single professional. This being possibly your last Valentine's Day as a single professional. And it also being one of the best Valentine's Days as a single professional. Before we get started though, I do want to mention that if you guys don't know already, Platinum Magazine has been released. The most recent issue, the February issue, has been released. So if you haven't seen it, please go check it out. You can find it on the My Platinum Connections website. Great articles. Everyone has loved the feature article, which is Are You Ready for a Real Relationship by Coach Reg. Interesting stuff, really interesting stuff, things about relationships and all that. We also had a couple who coaches other couples as well, primarily in the areas of intimacy and communication, because those things are key. Once you get in the relationship, sometimes those two things are hard to maintain. So that is Oliver and Denise Marcel of Denali Inc. You can find the information in the magazine as well. And then, I do a little bit of relationship, also business. So we have Rakita Johnson, who was talking about being not just a speaker or professional speaker, but a powerhouse speaker, how to slay the stage, especially for women, Christian women specifically. And then I also did an article about 5 ways to get more dates. So again, I may have already released that article in the group, but it's on the website, also in the magazine. So be sure to check it out, platinummagazine.online, or you can just go to Platinum Connections. You can get it from there as well. So again, we're doing a recording this week because 7 o'clock has been challenging for me. I have all these little kids now, 2 and 3. And so 7 o'clock is usually the time that we all kind of settle down and do dinner and all of that. And I have realized that when I get done with this, with the Tuesday talks about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I go downstairs and I have to go finish dinner or cook dinner because my husband is making sure the house is not burning down, but nothing else has been done for dinner. So I'm just gonna try to readjust what times we do it, but definitely, if nothing else, have a video and upload it at 7 o'clock. So yeah, we're talking about making this a great Valentine's Day, being single, and possibly the last one. So I'm going to give you some suggestions. And as I stated in the description of the live, it's not just kind of like the status quo suggestions, what you do for Valentine's Day, which, love yourself, self-care, pamper yourself, all those things, which, include a little bit. But, some more things as well. Some things that are just different. A lot of women, they do a Valentine's Day where they just kind of hang out together. But it seems like, for me, a lot of the women that I know, they all proclaim that they don't really hang around a lot of other women. So this probably will focus more so if you are an introvert or you just kind of like some time to yourself sometimes. It'd primarily be focused on that, but still have an enjoyable bomb day. And then I'm going to talk about a little bit about my last Valentine's Day as a single person and how that went. Before I start though, I have to say this. Something really strange happened to me earlier today. And it got me to thinking about expectations in relationships. This is so weird. So I was on the phone on my computer. I was right in front of my computer, but I was calling some our insurance company to make some appointments for me and my husband. And I was on hold. And while I was on hold, I'm looking at my computer and a call is coming in on my computer, which I thought was really, really strange because I don't talk to people through my computer unless it's like Zoom or something that's scheduled, like Zoom or something like that. And it was not that. So I saw this number. It was like Erica Blaine or something. It kept on popping up. I was like, who is that? And part of me was thinking, well, I'm on the insurance website, so maybe it's someone who got my number. They have my data and they know that I'm a member and they're calling me because I'm like just on the page for a while. So it was kind of strange. So I ignored it a couple times. And then the third time, and I'm still on hold on the phone. The third time the call came in, Erica Lane, on my computer. So when I answered it, I clicked and I, said accept. And I couldn't see anything. It was just the box. And I was like, hello. And then someone answered. And it was a guy. It was a male voice. It was like, hello. And I was like, who is this? And at the time I couldn't see. So I'm like trying to figure out how I see this video because it sounded like Skype, but I couldn't really see it. So I click on, eventually I click on the video, and the camera is just focused on this man's genitalia. And like, it was the most disgusting thing I had seen. I was just very offended and just put off. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm like figuring out how to like turn off the video. So I figured out how to turn off the video. And then I think I'm still live on the call. I'm like clicking all this stuff, right? Trying to figure out how to get off this call. Cause I'm just in shock because I'd never experienced anything like that before. So I think eventually I was able to get off the call. And so my husband's office is right across the hall from mine. So I call my husband and I'm like, Daryl, I was like, can you come here for a minute? So he comes and I was like, somebody just called me and it was a man just showing his private parts. And so my husband commences to turn around and he walks away. And I'm like, where are you going? Because while he's standing there, then the call is coming in again. Like this person is like, they're like, oh, someone answered. So they're like calling again. And so my husband like walks away and I'm like, where are you going? And he was like, well, I don't want to see that. And I just thought, well, that was odd. Like in my mind, I expected him to like click on the link that the link where the person was calling, to click on that and just like curse him out. Like that's what I was expecting. Cause like, I don't want a man to think that he could like do that to me. Or just call a video and just be that just disrespectful. And so my husband comes back and he's like, well, can you just turn it off? He's like, what is that? And I was like, I think it's Skype. He was like, well, can you turn off your Skype? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, do you ever use Skype? And I was like, no, it's been a while. I used to record my podcast on Skype, but I, transferred over to Zoom. So I don't use it. It's been a really long time since I've used Skype. And he was like, well, you can kind of like block your profile, whatever. So like I have my Zoom up and you can see my picture. He was like, well, you do have a picture up. So, people they're probably just calling like 1,000 women on here and doing the same thing. And I was like, that's just strange. He's like, no, it's not strange. And I was like, well, it's strange to me. He's like, well, just because it's strange to you doesn't mean that it's strange. Like people do that. And it was just interesting because he was like, well, you can just remove the app if you don't use it. And it was also very logical, right? And I am pretty much am a logical woman, like many of you are. And like logically that made sense just to delete the app, and I did. But it really got me to thinking, like in my mind, ladies, and you know how we like, if we're like in a situation, we just want our man to be a quote unquote man and be like very protective, and have that show of force, like you will not disrespect my woman. And so my husband's like, well, there's no way I can like track this person. Again, it's just on the internet, whatever, just shut it off. But it got me just thinking again, like the expectations sometimes that we may have as women. We have like this vision of what our man is supposed to look like. And it's all like, a lot of it's like emotionally based. And sometimes, a lot of times men don't conform or they don't fit that vision that we have. And so it's just something to think about, like our expectations. Is it realistic? Is it logical? Is it over the top? I just kind of wanted to put that out there because that's what I just kind of started thinking. Because I was just like, I had a totally, in my mind, total different way that my husband was going to handle this and than what he did. And he just kind of like broke it down very logically. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. But still, next time you curse a dude out for doing this to me. Anyway, I digress. We're going to talk about, again, just some suggestions for Valentine's Day if you are a single woman. Then I'm going to give you advice as to how to make this possibly your last Valentine's Day as a single woman. That's if, you want to be in a relationship. Definitely, I can't make any guarantees. No one can do that, but definitely getting you on the path to making this your last Valentine's Day. And I'll let you know how mine went as well. So, one, if you have the option of taking off for Valentine's Day, take it off. Take it off and do either nothing or anything that you want to do. And that may include sleeping in the bed, which just sounds lovely to me, or just relaxing. Some of us have children, of course. If you have kids, maybe making arrangements for the kids, maybe a grandparent or grandparents watching your kids for the evening after they get out of school or whatever it is. Just, taking that time, taking that day just to love on yourself if you can. If you can't take off the day, then definitely when you are off of work, just focusing on you. And again, that may mean taking the kids somewhere else. If you don't have any kids, just let it be about you and just enjoy it and just love on you and do what you want to do. That is the joy, I guess. The benefit of being single is you don't have to accommodate anyone else. And you don't want your whole life to be like that, but days here and there, that's great. So, let that be the day. It's a day of love, and let it be a day of love for you, and just do nothing or whatever it is that you want to do. It could be going to the spa, getting a massage, cooking maybe, cooking a dish if you like to cook, cooking something you really want to make that usually takes like hours and hours to do, but you can't do because you're so busy working or working on your business. Or get a facial, just get your nails done, just whatever it is, and just kind of love on yourself. I always say my mom went out of town a couple weeks ago, and she had a hotel room for a couple nights, and she was by herself, and she mentioned that this is the first time she'd ever been in a hotel room by herself, like ever in life. And I was like, wow, that's crazy, right? Because of course she'd been married. She got married when she was young. She went straight from either her mother's house or her aunt's house to getting married. So she'd been with my father for over 50 years. So she never, whenever she went out of town, she either shared a room with someone, or she was with my husband, or with her family. And so it was the first time she'd ever been by herself. I would love that. But again, we're at different places in our life. So I thought that was interesting. But if I could have a day to myself in a hotel room, I totally would just probably like binge something, either movies or shows, something like that. So if you can, again, if you can take the day off, or if you can't, second half of the day, just binge watch a show, but not the sappy kinds, not the super romantic ones that make you all emotional and like depressed because you're not in a relationship. Ones, comedies, something you've been wanting to watch for a while, action movies, whatever it is, but something that'll make you smile at the end of the day. There was something I read a few weeks ago in reference to Valentine's Day, things that you can do. And one of the suggestions was to go to your favorite restaurant. And I was like, that is really not a good idea for a single person, because on Valentine's Day, restaurants are jam-packed. So why would you want to go to a restaurant and you see couples everywhere? So scratch that. We're not doing that. But what you can do is definitely, if there is a favorite restaurant or a decent restaurant and they deliver, have your dinner delivered. Lunch, breakfast, whatever it is, all three, possibly, have them delivered to you that day. If they don't have delivery, then arrange to have it picked up. If you can't pick it up, have have someone else pick it up for you, which is, great if you can do that. If you can work that out, get someone else to pick it up for you so you don't have to do anything. So that's, definitely a suggestion as well. I mentioned earlier, like cook a dish. I like to cook. There's a couple dishes that take a long time and there's a lot of waiting in between. And so in between, like binge watching something or watching something and you're cooking, like you can go and tend to the food and then go back to your movie and pause it and do that. To me, that would be something I would love to do. Or if you like to paint, do something like that. I am a huge fan of edible arrangements. I love them. So Valentine's Day is coming up, so it's less than a week away. So like tonight, go online, or tomorrow if you like edible arrangements, and just pick out one of your favorite ones, one of your favorite fruit bouquets or dessert bouquets for edible arrangements. Order it and have it delivered to you that day. You don't have to put anything in it, but just have it delivered and you can just enjoy that. I love them, so I, always appreciate them. But there needs to be an occasion, I think, to get an edible arrangement, and loving on you is definitely an occasion to do so. The next one, and I love, love, love this, and many of you probably do too, is plan a trip for like the spring or the summer. Just sit down, figure out where you want to go. Like a lot of us just like to get on the computer and just like price check and look at different places and research and like visualize what the trip is going to be. Things are opening up some more with COVID. We're getting back a little bit to our normal lives. So plan a trip, whether it's just with you or with some girlfriends. You can talk about that this week. Like who wants to go on a trip and, kind of get a budget and plan it. Like to me, that's always fun. Just like different places and just putting it all together and book it, and make sure you book it, pay for it, put down your deposit, whatever it is that you're going to do, and go. Also in the magazine, every month we have places, events, and different activities and conferences all over the country to go to. And that's always my suggestion to people, to go and attend non-industry related events and conferences. So it's a good time to do that. You can check out the magazine, or just in general, like what events are going on that you normally would not go to. It's a great place to not just network, but to meet potential people, potential mates, people that you might want to see. They may be from your city, they may be from somewhere else. Either way, it's okay, because long distance relationships are a good way to start. There's nothing wrong with them. They have time to cultivate and develop. So definitely check out just different places to go. Other events, if you want to meet a doctor or educators, whatever it is, they have conferences and events all the time, all over the country, and they're getting more popular, again, in person. So book a trip, stay at the host hotel. Don't actually go to the conference, but go to the host hotel. And during non-conference hours, just go down to the lobby or restaurant, whatever it is, and just mingle with the participants. It's a great way to meet new people and potential prospects as well. The last tip I'm going to give is avoid social media all day. There's no reason to go on it, because you're going to see lots of things with love and couples and all of that. And while we are very happy, or you are very happy for your friends and family who are in that place in their life, it's just, sometimes a reminder for you that you are not. So why even do that to yourself? I say stay off your phone. People will call you, I'm sure. Just put it, if it's not an emergency, just put it to the side. Sometimes we just need a break, a mental break from social media, from our phones, all of that, and just go incognito for the day. The next day, which is actually, strangely enough, February 15th is Singles Awareness Day. You can return calls then, get back to, whatever you missed, get back on social media if you would like. But just, sometimes just take a day, just take a break for you. So that's about it. Those are the tips that I have for Valentine's Day if you're single. Making it a nice, peaceful day. And again, just making it about you. Take the day off if you can. Make arrangements for the kids. Binge watch whatever shows or movies you've been wanting to watch. Have your food delivered, or you can make food. You can cook your own dish. an extravagant, like a 4-course, 5-course meal dish. Or you can share it, have someone come over. If you do want friends over, you can do that as well. The edible arrangements, plan a trip, and avoid social media. Go incognito for the day. But before we wrap up, I do again want to use my life story as an example as to how quickly love and relationships can blossom and change. My last Valentine's Day as a single person, unmarried, legally single, so it was February 2017. And it was very, very interesting how that all kind of came about, because that year I had, gotten it in my mind this was going to be my first Valentine's Day alone after my 10-year relationship that I was in. And I, actually was okay. I was at peace. I was at peace where I was, because I was no longer in turmoil because of the relationship that I was in. And although my husband and I, we were kind of like casually dating and talking, we weren't in a relationship at all at this point. So I want to say like 2 days before Valentine's Day, it was like a Sunday, my husband called, and we had never gone out. We had never, dated or gone out on Valentine's Day before. So he called me like a Sunday evening. I think Valentine's Day was like Tuesday. And he was like, hey, I want to know if you want to go out for Valentine's Day. And it wasn't in my mind. Actually, what was supposed to happen was my daughter was going to have softball practice. And so I was going to take her to softball practice. And that was going to be my evening. And I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, that'd be nice. It was totally unexpected. So I, asked my parents to watch my daughter, take her to practice and just watch her for a couple hours. So I can get back relatively early. So that was our Valentine's Day, 2017. And again, we weren't in a relationship at that point. It wasn't until like another month and a half later that we had the discussion and we actually became official and we were in a relationship. And from February 14th, 2017, in less than a year, my husband and I were married. So it's just a reminder that just because you are single today does not mean that you will be a single a year from now. Things can totally change. And especially the older that we get, 40 and up. And if you're dating men who are 40 and up, when a man is ready to get married, especially at that age, and he's kind of lived life, if he finds a good person, a good woman that he's attracted to and can see himself with, it does not take him long at all to go from single to proposal to married. So keep that in mind. That's just a bit of encouragement. And I think last year I wrote an article about my last Valentine's Day as a single person, and I'll probably repost it and put it in the group. I talked about, what had been going on before then. But be encouraged, because just because you are single right now, Valentine's Day, does not mean that you will be single this time next year. It's totally, totally possible. But in that time frame between now and next year or next couple of months, be intentional about being in a relationship. I mentioned earlier today, the cover story for February's issue of Platinum Magazine was, "Are you ready for a real relationship?" So many people say that they are ready for a relationship, but they really are not ready. I think, again, there's unrealistic expectations. Like I was saying, I had perhaps an unrealistic expectation as to how my husband was going to act when this person sent me a video of his genitalia. Is it realistic? And look at those things. Because again, as I always say, we deserve certain things in relationships, and what we deserve, those type of people, men and women that we deserve, do not necessarily come in the physical packages that we envisioned that they would come in. There are so many good men and so many good women out there. But they may not be a quote unquote 10 on society's level in the looks area in the attractiveness area, body area. But there's some really good people out there. And so just reconsider some people that you may have been dismissing, especially if they are really genuine and they're really into you. But not only that, be intentional about making this your last Valentine's Day as a single person. Things happen by chance, love happens by chance, but rarely does it. It takes time, right? Again, if you've gotten to be a certain age and you've not been married, or it's been a long time since you've been married, you've got to make different decisions on how you approach this. You all know that I do matchmaking now. I'm still an attorney as well. I do estate planning. But as a matchmaker, in matchmaking, a lot of people see it as being desperate. And that couldn't be further from the truth. For example, how many times, like just over the years, especially when we were younger, how many times you ask somebody like to hook you up with a friend, or does your friend have a friend, something like that? That is matchmaking, right? It's unskilled matchmaking, but it's matchmaking. Matchmaking is a value proposition, right? And you've probably heard me say that before. Why not get paired with someone? Why not meet people that align with your values? Dating is time consuming and it can be very frustrating. It can be time consuming, especially if you put some time into a relationship with someone that you're not compatible with because it was just someone that you randomly met. Cut down some of that time. Again, for some of us approaching 40 or over 40, you don't have a lot of time. We're not getting any younger. So be intentional. Can you find your own mate, your own wife, your own husband? Of course you can. Can you represent yourself in court without an attorney? Of course you can. But will you do a good job at it? Probably not. Could you do your taxes on your own? Probably. But you usually go to an accountant. You are a successful man or woman. You are a professional man or woman. You are an expert in what you do. And it's no different when it comes to your personal life, to your love life. It's time to shift that mindset of I can do everything by myself. And I know you don't think that because you have obtained business coaches, you take trainings and all that. Some people go to therapy. You have an accountant. You've brought in professionals for other areas of your life. And the same thing applies to your love life. If it's something that you want to happen and you really don't have the time to put into it. So I definitely invite you to scheduling an information session just to figure out what the whole process is, what services that we offer. There's no commitments, like a 15, 20-minute call, just to see how we work. You can ask any question that you want to ask, like fees and the database and matches and all of that, just to get a feel for what it's about. And, definitely look around. There's matchmakers everywhere, all over the country, more than you would know. Other demographics have been doing it for years. We as men and women of color, we have not necessarily. But as we become more successful, you definitely want to consider some other things. How do you change this? How do you get out of this rut? Because I want to see you win in love, just like you have won in your career, your job, your profession, your business. I want to see you win in love as well and get out of either being single or get out of these crazy relationships. So you can schedule those information sessions on the website at myplatinumconnections.com. Also check out the magazine, Platinum Magazine, again, which is on the website. If you want to be featured or advertised in the magazine, March is the last issue that it is for free. We start charging in April, the April issue. So definitely contact me. The information is on the website, or you can email me at Tamika at platinummagazine.online. Also subscribe to it so you can get it in your inbox every month. Please like, subscribe, follow Platinum Connections on Facebook, in the Facebook group, on Instagram, also on YouTube. Next week, we'll be talking about situationships. I did an interview on situationships, I don't know, last summer on someone else's podcast. And of course, you can't explore it to the depth that you would like to. But I'm talking about situationships, identifying situationships, whether you're in one, whether you're you think you might be in one. We're going to touch a little bit on those unhealthy relationships, but more so situationships. Those are relationships that are not specifically defined, but you are romantic, you may be physical with one another, but there's no specific title on a relationship. You may not be sure where you are, where this is going. And if you are in one, especially if you're emotionally invested, if you are in love, how to get out of one, or how to make it not a situationship anymore and make it more of a real relationship. So we'll be talking about that, situationships, next Tuesday at 7. So it might be live, it might be a video. Either way, you can still comment on the video, on the post. It'll show up as a post, I guess. And yeah, you can still comment, like, ask questions, all that. I'll still see it. So until then, have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day. And fingers crossed, with a little work and intentionality, this will be your last Valentine's Day as a single person. So I will see you next week. Have a great Valentine's Day. Bye.